You have watched him your entire life. Maybe you were a child when he first appeared. Maybe you grew up alongside him. Either way, Lionel Messi has always been there, at every World Cup, every 4 years, like something permanent. And now he is 38 years old, standing at his sixth World Cup, and the clock is finally running out. This is not just a football story. This is something much stranger than that. There is a concept in psychology called the peak end rule. It was studied by Nobel Prize-winning researcher Daniel Kahneman, who found that humans do not judge an experience by its average. They judge it by two moments, the peak and the end, not the journey, not the years in between, the peak and the end. And right now, Lionel Messi is living inside the most watched ending in the history of sport. Think about what that means for a moment. Messi won the World Cup in Qatar in 2022. After 5 attempts, after a career defined by a single missing piece, he finally held the trophy. He fell to his knees. He wept. Hundreds of millions of people watched. It was, by almost any measure, the peak of the greatest individual career in football history. And then something extraordinary happened. He came back. He said 2022 was his last World Cup. Then he kept playing. He won 2 Copa Americas. He kept scoring. And now, at 38, he is in North America, defending the trophy in his 6th tournament on the biggest stage the sport has ever built. And here is the uncomfortable truth that no one wants to say out loud. He will never be as good as he was. The minor muscular issue he managed before this tournament, the reduced minutes his coaches planned to protect him, these are not signs of weakness. They are signs of time. Even the greatest body in football history cannot hold back what is coming. And yet Messi is here anyway. Why? What does it mean that the greatest player who ever lived chose to come back? There is a theory in sports psychology about what researchers call the farewell tour effect. When elite athletes enter their final chapter, something shifts in how they perform and how audiences respond. The crowd does not just watch anymore, they witness. Every touch becomes weighted with meaning. Every goal carries a question. Is this the last one? Sports scientist Yair Galili has written about how the presence of a defined ending changes both the athlete and the audience, sharpening focus, raising emotional stakes, and creating a psychological contract between player and crowd that transforms an ordinary match into something closer to ritual. Argentina face Algeria on June 16th. Messi is expected to play, and whether he scores or not, whether Argentina advance or fall, every minute he spends on that pitch will be watched differently from anything that came before. Consider the math of what he has already done. 6 World Cups, a record he shares only with Cristiano Ronaldo. 198 international caps, 116 international goals, a World Cup winner's medal that took him 5 attempts and 36 years of his life to earn. He first played for Argentina at 18. He will play his last match, whenever it comes, at 38 or 39. That is 2 full decades of carrying an entire country's expectations inside his body. Argentina coach Lionel Scaloni, who has built this golden generation around Messi, said something quietly remarkable in the weeks before the tournament. He said he did not want to think about endings. He said he just wanted to watch Messi play, because watching Messi play is something wonderful. That is not the language of tactics. That is the language of someone who understands they are standing inside a moment that will not come again. And that is the real reason Messi's last World Cup changes everything. Not because of what he might win, not because of the goals or the trophies or the records, but because of what it does to everyone watching. You already know how it ends, not the scoreline. That is still unwritten, but you know that this is finite. You know that the next time you see him on a World Cup pitch, it might be the last time, and that knowledge changes how you see every single touch he takes. The peak end rule says you will remember this above almost everything else. Whatever Messi does in this tournament, whether he lifts a second trophy or walks away without one, it becomes the final chapter of the story your brain has been telling about him your whole life. You have watched him your entire life, and now you are watching him say goodbye.